It started with a hit to the face, but it ended with a lot more. Kelsey Mitchell took an elbow that sent her crashing to the floor, and Caitlin Clark took it personally. What followed wasn't just a game, it was a message. And the Sun learned the hard way. When you come for Indiana's vets, their rookie doesn't stay quiet, she answers. With precision. Second quarter. Sonya Rivers comes down the lane hard. Instead of finishing the play, she swings her arm wide and catches Kelsey Mitchell flush across the jaw. Mitchell drops instantly. The arena gasps. Teammates rush to her. Rivers jogs away without even looking back. The refs call a foul. That's it. But you can feel the temperature change. That wasn't just careless, it felt pointed. Mitchell has been Indiana's foundation, a true leader. When she hits the floor like that, it's personal, and Clark feels it. She doesn't talk to the refs, doesn't gesture. She locks in. No drama, just impact. Because when someone takes a swing at one of hers, she responds the only way she knows how. And from that moment, the tone flipped. The Fever started with poise. Connecticut struck first. Sonya Rivers turned a loose ball into a coast-to-coast layup that looked way too easy. Tina Charles followed it up with one of those awkward, impossible jumpers only she can make. But Indiana never blinked. Caitlin Clark settled the offense with a hedge read and hit Natasha Howard in stride. Howard pivoted through the contact and scored clean. The very next possession, Clark found Howard again at the high post. Same poise, same finish. Every possession had a purpose. Every cut had timing. Indiana wasn't reacting. They were dictating. Connecticut landed the first punch, but Indiana walked straight through it. Then Clark took over without saying a word. She froze her defender at the top of the key, blew past on a hesitation, and finished off the glass. It looked simple, but it was cold. Next play, she spotted Lexi Hull on a backdoor cut and slipped a bounce pass through the teeth of the defense. Hull caught it in rhythm and hit the soft fadeaway. Then came the statement pass. Clark pulled down a board, looked up, and launched a full-court dart to Hull streaking left wing. Catch, shoot, three, splash. Not a single celebration. Not a word to the crowd. Just impact. This wasn't heat check Clark. This was locked-in Clark. And the Sun were just starting to feel it. The Sun made a push. Clark got picked near the top of the key, and Rivers turned it into a fast break for Charles. Easy two. Then a high-low set got Charles deep in the post for another bucket. It looked like momentum was shifting, but Indiana didn't lose their grip. Ari McDonald came off a handoff, got bumped, and earned a trip to the line. She buried both. The Fever ended the first quarter up 29-28. Barely. But the story wasn't in the score. It was in the control. Indiana was playing their game with superb clarity. Connecticut had the highlight plays, but Indiana had the edge. And the second quarter was about to prove it. It started with defense. Clark jumped a lazy pass and took off in transition. She attacked the rim and drew contact from Sheldon. Split the free throws, but set the tone. Then Mitchell answered back. She took a broken play, fought through a strip attempt, and flipped in a bucket off the glass. She didn't flinch, she didn't hesitate. The same woman who just got rocked in the jaw was right back in the lane making plays. Next, Mitchell came off a handoff, gave a pause that froze her defender, and hit a mid-range jumper clean. And then Clark struck again. Same action. This time, she used the hesitation to split the trap and got to the rim untouched. Indiana wasn't chirping, they weren't flexing, they were scoring, and the Sun had no answers. Connecticut desperately needed something, so Bria Hartley gave it to them. She shook her defender with an in-and-out move, then hit a deep three off a behind-the-back dribble. On the next trip, she rejected the screen, kept the ball alive, and whipped a pass back to Tina Charles for an elbow jumper. Then, in semi-transition, Hartley did it again, behind the back into a pull-up three. Contested. Still good. She was trying to yank the Sun back into the game single-handedly, and for a moment, it worked. But the Fever didn't fold. Mitchell took over again, crossing over and finishing with her left. Then, off a skip pass, she attacked a closeout and found Sophie Cunningham wide open at the arc. Cunningham let it fly. Connecticut had fire. Indiana had answers. And Caitlin Clark hadn't even turned it up yet. Everything about Kelsey Mitchell's second quarter said resilience. She got elbowed, she got up, and now she was torching whoever stepped in front of her. She danced through defenders with multiple crossovers, split the lane, and flipped in a left-handed layup like she hadn't just taken a hit to the face 15 minutes ago. Then she made the right read again. After a defensive rotation arrived early, she didn't force it. She kicked the ball to Sophie Cunningham, standing alone beyond the arc. Catch, rise, release. 3 more. Mitchell wasn't just back. She was controlling the tempo. Her mid-range looked automatic. Her drives had purpose, and her decision-making was elite. By halftime, Indiana had edged ahead 44-42. Not a blowout, but the edge was real. The Fever had taken the Sun's best punch, and they were still standing taller. Connecticut came out looking to steal momentum back. First possession, a clean swing sequence finds Bria Hartley at the top of the arc. In rhythm, no hesitation, 3 points. Next play, Tina Charles gets deep position, spins into a left-handed hook, and it drops. It wasn't pretty, but it was pure. The Sun were punching again, but Indiana never stopped throwing. Lexi Hull caught her defender sleeping and backcut through the lane. Natasha Howard hit her with a no-look pass. Finish at the rim. Easy 2. Next possession, Aaliyah Boston goes from finisher to facilitator. From the elbow, she threads a bounce pass to Howard for another score. 17 points and counting. Howard was feasting. Charles hit another long 2 on the other end, but it was clear now. Connecticut was surviving on talent. Indiana was thriving on chemistry. And when Clark started threading bounce passes behind defenders again, the game tilted. You could see it building. Every time Clark had the ball up top, Connecticut's defense shifted just enough to overreact, and she punished it every single time. One skip pass found Sophie Cunningham sneaking along the baseline. Clark bounced it, hit her in motion, and Cunningham finished it with touch. The Sun fired back. Anna Marraro blew past her defender and finished strong at the rim. Rookie energy, full throttle. But it didn't matter. Next play, Clark waited just long enough to let the defense shift, then delivered a 2-handed bounce pass into the pocket for Boston. Indiana was ahead 62-60 at the end of the third. Barely, but they were playing with control, and control beats chaos in the fourth. Clark and Boston, 2-woman action, perfect timing. Boston popped to her spot near the elbow. Clark hit her in stride. Clean 15-footer. Next possession, the chaos returned. Connecticut chased down a loose ball, and Layla Lon drained a wing 3 with a whistle. Foul on the shot. Lon had a shot at a rare 4-point play. She missed the free throw, but the energy was back. She made up for it in transition. A simple shot fake sent her defender flying, and she stepped through for the finish. That gave her 15 points, a new career high. Then it was Marraro again, sealing hard in the paint. Tina Charles saw it, dropped in a perfect lob, and Marraro converted. The Sun were scrapping, but they were not in control. Indiana needed composure, so Clark gave them calm. Boston got hacked inside. She hit both free throws. Fever back in front. Then came the dagger. Clark used a screen, slowed her dribble just enough to keep the defender guessing, and floated in a 1-foot runner that stopped the bleeding. Seconds later, Sophie Cunningham picked off a lazy pass, pushed it to Clark in transition, and Clark earned 2 more at the stripe. She buried them both. And when Darius Dantes zipped a pass to a wide-open Clark on the perimeter, she didn't blink. She caught, rose, and drained the 3 with the defender a step too slow. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was calculated, and quite deadly. With just over a minute to go, Clark drew another foul on an unnecessary bump. 2 more free throws. Nothing but net. The fever had stretched the lead. The crowd was rising. Then came the closer. Clark caught the defense leaning and threaded a perfect bounce pass to Kelsey Mitchell on a backdoor cut. Layup! The crowd erupts. That was the one. Not because of the score, but because of who it came from and who it went to. Mitchell took the hit. Clark took over. And when it was time to seal the win, Clark made sure Mitchell was the one who closed it. Final score? 85-77, but the real number was one. One foul that crossed the line, one teammate who got hit, and one player who answered without saying a word. She let her game do the talking, and the league heard it loud and clear. Caitlin Clark didn't need to retaliate. She didn't need to raise her voice or speak on social media about this. She gave the Suns something worse. A quiet, calculated game. Every assist, every cut, every dagger bucket, it all traced back to that hit on Kelsey Mitchell. You take a shot at her teammate, and she'll take your team down. Clark may be a rookie, but in games like this, she looks like the whole system.